Listen to that. That clock on my kitchen wall sounds like a gavel dropping this morning. It is exactly 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. For 23 years, 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday meant the smell of grease, plates clattering, and Tom's loud booming laugh at the diner on 5th Street. Today, there is just this silence, suffocating silence, and an empty wooden chair across from me. I poured a second cup of coffee out of pure muscle memory. It's just sitting there, getting cold. If you are watching this on your phone and you have a best friend, you haven't called this week because you are too busy with work or your family or your stress, I need to tell you this before my time runs out. Please, don't scroll away. Look at this empty chair. This is what later looks like. It's a diner receipt from 6 months ago. 2 coffees, bacon, eggs. The ink is fading. I keep it because it proves we were there 57 years. Tom and I walked through this whole life side by side. Grade school, drafting for the war, buying our first houses, watching our hair go grey. But somewhere in my 40s, I fell into the trap, the American trap. I worshipped the calendar. I bowed down to the endless, suffocating list of things to do. I had a career to build. I had kids to drive to practice. I had gutters to clean. I had retirement accounts to stress over. I was so busy. God, my head was always so loud. And Tom was just there, like gravity. You don't think about gravity. You don't thank it. You just assume it will always hold you to the earth. That was my sin. I treated my best friend like a piece of furniture in my life, a background fixture. I would cancel our Tuesday breakfasts all the time. Tom, buddy, I'm swamped this week. Let's do next Tuesday. Swamped. What a stupid word. What was I doing? Sitting in morning traffic, arguing with a contractor, staring at corporate spreadsheets that were shredded in a landfill 10 years ago? Yes. I traded the only man who truly knew my soul for a clean garage and a pat on the back from a boss whose name I can't even remember today. I thought because we had 57 years of history behind us, we had an infinite future ahead of us. I thought friendship was a savings account that would just sit there gathering dust while I chased after success. I was building a future, and I was ignoring the present. I was so arrogant. I lived like we were immortal. On a Wednesday afternoon, I was in the yard, pulling weeds. I was actually irritated that the dandelions had come back. Dandelions. That's what I was worried about. Then the phone rang. It was Emily, Tom's oldest daughter. She didn't even say hello. She just sobbed into the receiver. Uncle Bob, Dad didn't wake up this morning. His heart just gave out. Just like that. There was no dramatic music, no long goodbyes, no final words of wisdom, just a heart that ticked faithfully for 79 years. And then, didn't. The day before, as I paid the diner tab, I slapped him on the back and said, "See you next week, you old fool." Next week never came. At the funeral, the church was packed. Tom knew everyone. People kept coming up to me, patting my arm, saying the things people say. "He's in a better place. You must have so many wonderful memories, Bob." They meant well. They really did. But standing over that polished mahogany box, staring at the waxy, lifeless face of the man who was practically my brother, that is when the real horror hit me. My knees actually buckled. It wasn't just the grief of losing him. It was the realization of what I had actually lost. You see, my wife, my sweet Sarah, she passed away 8 years ago. My parents have been in the ground since 1998. My children, they love me dearly, but they only know this Bob, the old man with the stiff back, the quiet grandfather who falls asleep in his chair. Tom was the last human being on this earth who remembered who I was. Tom knew the 17-year-old Bob who was terrified of being drafted. Tom was sitting in the hospital waiting room at 2 a.m., when my first son was born, handing me a cheap cigar while my hands shook. Tom knew the dreams I had before life ground them down. He knew my worst mistakes, and he never judged me for them. Tom was the keeper of my history. He was the last witness to my life. When they closed the lid on that casket, they didn't just bury my best friend. They buried my youth. They buried the only mirror I had left. When his heart stopped, my past was erased. Now I am the only one who remembers us. And let me tell you, memory is a very lonely room to sit in. I sit here in this kitchen, gripping this cold mug, and the silence is deafening. I would trade every dollar in my retirement account. I would trade this house just to have one more hour at that diner, just to hear him laugh at my bad jokes one more time. I was right about one thing. Tom was like gravity, and now that he's gone, I am just floating in the dark. The light is spilling across the kitchen floor. It's turning everything this warm golden color. Even the dust motes dancing in the air look peaceful. My children came over a few weeks ago. They sat right at this table, looking worried. They had glossy brochures for a senior community center downtown. They told me I needed to move on. They said I needed to get out of the house, join a gardening club, meet new people. They wanted to fix my sadness. I just smiled at them. I patted my son's hand, and I told them no, I don't need to be fixed. And I certainly don't want to replace Tom. You cannot replace a 57-year bond with a Tuesday afternoon bingo game. And for the first time in a long time, I am perfectly okay with that. Grief, it isn't an enemy. Grief is just love that has nowhere left to go. So I decided to let that love stay right here in this room with me. I stopped fighting the silence. I welcomed it. I sit here now, and instead of focusing on the loss, I focus on the absolute miracle of what I had. I realized what Tom actually gave me all those years. It wasn't grand adventures. It wasn't money. It was something far more sacred. It was his presence. Pure, uncomplicated presence. 8 years ago, the week my Sarah died, this house was absolute chaos. It was full of casseroles I couldn't eat, funeral planners asking about casket linings, crying relatives, and ringing phones. I remember walking out the back door just to breathe. I was suffocating. It was raining hard that afternoon, and there was Tom. He was just sitting on my porch steps, under the awning, watching the rain hit the driveway. He didn't get up. He didn't offer me platitudes about how time heals all wounds. He didn't try to fix it. He just reached into a cooler, handed me a cold beer, and moved over an inch. We sat there for 2 hours. We didn't say a single word. We just listened to the rain hit the tin roof. That is the absolute pinnacle of human love. Sitting in the dark with someone so they don't have to be alone. Now, I try to live up to that memory. Tom gave me a blueprint for how to live out my final years. I slowed down. Everything just slowed down. I don't rush through my mornings anymore. I don't look at the clock like it's a drill sergeant. I sit right here in this sunbeam, and I actually taste my coffee. I watch the steam rise up into the light. It's beautiful. Last week, my neighbor across the street, a young guy about 30, was struggling to fix his wooden fence. The old Bob would have stayed inside. I would have thought, don't intrude. You have dishes to do. You're too tired. The new Bob put his shoes on and walked across the street. I didn't say much. I just stood there and held the heavy boards in place so he could drive the screws in. The wood smelled like pine and sweat. The sun was warm on my back. We worked for an hour, shook hands, and I came home. It was a perfect afternoon. I call my daughter now, not to discuss schedules or doctor's appointments, but just to ask her what the sky looks like where she is. I listen to her voice. Really listen. I stopped keeping score. I stopped worrying about later. I was so blind before. I thought a successful life was about what you built. I was wrong. A successful life is about who you walk with. I look at this empty chair across from me now, and it doesn't scare me anymore. It's no longer a symbol of loss. It is a monument to a lifetime of wealth. I am the richest man in this neighborhood. I was known, I was seen, I was loved by a true friend for over half a century. Most people never get that for 5 minutes. I slowed down, and the world became beautiful. So yes, the diner receipt is fading, and the chair is empty, but my heart is completely full. But you still have time. Look at me. I need you to hear this. You do not need to stand by a casket to wake up. Stop waiting for the right time to connect. Stop waiting until work slows down, or the kids are older, or the house is clean. Life will never slow down on its own. Friendship isn't about grand gestures or perfect words. It is just the simple, mundane act of showing up. It is eating cold eggs together. It is sitting on a porch in the rain. Do not assume you have later. Later is a thief. Later means the chair is empty. I cannot bring Tom back. I cannot fix my life, but I can help you fix yours. Think of that one person who knows your history, the one who loves you without keeping score. Share this with them. Don't text them next week. Call them. Right now. Tell them you are coming over just to sit, please. Do it while the chair is still full. I know you are tired. I know exactly how heavy it feels to carry the weight of a busy life. You feel like you have 100 plates spinning in the air. Bills, career, family drama, and if you stop for even a second to catch your breath, everything will crash. I lived that life, I understand the exhaustion, but I need to shake you awake before you end up sitting where I am. The most dangerous lie you are living right now is the illusion of later. The modern world has convinced you that your importance is measured by your stress. That is a devastating lie. When you get to my age, staring at the ghosts of your past, the noise of that life vanishes. You will realize that all the emergencies you are stressing about today meant absolutely nothing. The only real tragedy of the human experience is the connection we postponed. Time is not a renewable resource. The clock on your wall is ticking, and it does not negotiate. So I am pleading with you, as a friend at the end of the road. Stop. Drop the plates. Let them crash. Right now, today. Think of that one person who knows your soul, the friend you've been taking for granted. Pick up the phone. Don't text them. Actually hear their voice. Tell them you are coming over, just to sit on their porch. No grand plans, just to be there. Do it today, because one day, much sooner than you think, it will be 8:30 on a Tuesday, and the chair across from you will be forever empty. Look at me. I need you to hear this. You do not need to stand by a casket to wake up. Stop waiting for the right time to connect. Stop waiting until work slows down, or the kids are older, or the house is clean. Life will never slow down on its own. Friendship isn't about grand gestures or perfect words. It is just the simple, mundane act of showing up. It is eating cold eggs together. It is sitting on a porch in the rain. Do not assume you have later. Later is a thief. Later means the chair is empty. I cannot bring Tom back. I cannot fix my life, but I can help you fix yours. Think of that one person who knows your history, the one who loves you without keeping score. Share this with them. Don't text them next week. Call them. Right now. Tell them you are coming over just to sit. Please. Do it while the chair is still full.